finally liked one of your ideas that you sent in. They want to have a meeting with you later today. The problem is, you kind of didn't think through your full movie pitch. You either had really strong characters that you had a full concept for, or you had a pretty well thought out plot that didn't have characters. Well, you're pretty good at winging things, so you decide to go ahead and take up the executive on their meeting, and you go in and decide, I got this. Problem is executives tend to have really good ideas for what they think will be a good movie, but in the end, it really may not work so well for what you had in mind. That's the concept behind Pitchstorm. Pitchstorm is a party game where you're going to take the role of a writer who is trying to pitch your story to a Hollywood executive. You're only going to have 45 seconds to do that, but the problem is at any point they can throw out their ideas to ruin your movie idea. So each round, one player is going to play the executive, listening to the pitch and ready to screw it up at any point. All the other players are going to be playing the writers. They're either going to draw 3 character cards or 3 plot cards, but not both. They're going to select one card from what they drew to use as the basis for their character for their story or the plot for their story. Then when they are ready to provide their pitch, they're going to blindly draw one of the cards off the opposite deck, and they're going to put them together, and they're going to have 45 seconds to sell their pitch to the executive. So, and looking at an example, let's see, we got an aging butler, reminiscent about their glory days, races to the top races to stop a detonation of a biological weapon in New York City. So you'll have 45 seconds to put together a quick movie teaser or elevator pitch for this that is going to blow the pants off of the executive. But the executive could pause the 45-second clock and throw out one of their note cards, like this one. Perfect. Only make it a musical where everyone is pregnant. At that point, the timer starts again, and you've got to recalibrate very quickly on the fly to this new note that the executive has tossed out. So, once you're done with your pitch, all the other players are going to do their pitches, and that executive is going to choose one player as the winner of that round. They'll hand them one of the note cards just as a point. They'll just flip it over like that and hand it over, and it's just their points. Then you're going to go to the next person clockwise. That person's going to be the new executive. All players are going to draw 3 cards from one deck. The executive will have 3 cards from the note deck, and you're going to repeat the same process. Now, like with any party game, there's really no set in stone way that the game will end. You could either play until everyone's been the executive a certain number of times. You could play until someone's reached a certain number of points. Basically, whatever your group wants to do, that is perfectly fine because it's a party game. Most people have played party games and kind of know that they're very flexible based on as long as people are still having fun. Now, if you play with higher player counts, because this game does support up to 12 players, if you play with higher player counts, 6 and more, you can actually team up and tag team these pitches together. What you'll do is you and your partner will draw 3 cards from the opposite decks without talking. You're going to pick one of each of those cards. Then you're going to have 60 seconds together to sell your pitch based on the character that one of you selected and the plot that the other selected. Now, the executives are also going to be on the team, and much like the players, they're not going to know the notes that the other executive is going to have. So at any point during these 60 seconds, they can pause the clock, toss out a note, forcing the writers to recalibrate their story. And that's pretty much how it'll work. You'll just go through all the different teams playing in that same way until the executives pick a winner. And that is the very quick rundown of how to play Pitchstorm by Skybound Games. Skybound Games has also made other popular party games such as Super Fight and Red Flags. Each of those have their own unique twist. Super Fight, you're creating your basically a hero that's going to fight against the other player's heroes, and then you're going to have a big nerdy debate on who would win in a fight between X and Y. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and there's been a lot of expansions for that game to make it even more zany. And then in Red Flags, similar type of party game, but instead you're trying to put one of your friends up on a blind date with somebody. You're pitching who your blind date's going to be to them. You tell them why the person you have in mind's the best. But all dates are going to come with one red flag that the other players are going to get to play onto your ideal person. So if you like these party games, if you like Pitchstorm or the idea of Super Fight or Red Flags, check out Skybound Games for more information. I'll have some links for each of these games down in the description, but if you are interested in playing these, I'm always up for showing this to you and your group on the Envoy Gateway. I'll also have some information for that in the description as well. Have a great night.